Hey, it's Soul with a 9.2 guide. Today I'm going to fill you in on Cosmic Flux, a new currency coming in this patch that you'll be using to strengthen your characters. By the end of this video, I hope to clear up any misconceptions or assumptions with all the facts and the takeaways. What does this stuff do? Where do you get it? And what does Cosmic Flux really mean for you? If you don't mind, help out the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. And let's go. We begin with the obvious, and I'll read the tooltip. Swirling fragments of creation energy that enable transformation, Cosmic Flux can be used to empower equipment at the creation catalyst in Zereth Mortis, or fuel the Runecarver's chamber in Torghast. In 9.2, Flux will drop from all the new content. In the Zereth Mortis zone, you'll find it from rares and treasures, and dailies and world quests, and a big weekly quest. You can obtain it from running higher levels of Torghast and the upcoming Jailer's Gauntlet. You get it from winning PvP matches, completing Mythic Plus dungeons, and raids. And it comes from the Great Vault if your selections happen to suck. There's also no cap. You can keep running dungeons, you can keep PvP, and you can keep slamming Torghast, and the flux will flow. It doesn't come from everything though. From my testing, I have not seen it come from the 4 Covenant Zones world quests, or Covenant Callings, or Table Missions, or Korthia. Still though, it takes some effort to not eventually obtain a bunch of this stuff over time if you participate in any Shadowlands endgame. And what is Cosmic Flux going to be used for? We'll be using it to transform eligible gear into tier pieces. Specifically, epic quality season gear can be used. Unfortunately, that means no gear from world content. After some testing and some asking around, I've yet to find any gear obtained from outdoor zone content that works. PvP gear bought with honor doesn't qualify. Even when fully upgraded, Honor PvP gear is still blue, so it's not going to work. Dungeon gear has to be mythic or higher in order for it to qualify, but all raid gear will qualify, including Raid Finder. So for example, a PvP chest piece obtained from spending Conquest can be plugged into this thing. You spend some Flux, and out comes a tier chest. The secondary stats are always going to be the same that you would obtain from the raid, however, all other attributes from the previous gear will follow. That includes its ability to be upgraded, PvP bonuses if they're applicable, and tertiaries like a socket or leech. You can even change other pieces like wrists and boots into tier pieces for the transmog. Unfortunately, it's not fully testable in the PTR, so I can't tell you how this gear is going to look, or if it changes the look if the item level is higher. Flux is also going to be used to access rank 7 legendaries to unlock their highest item level. Whether you're going to upgrade an existing legendary or craft a new one, you're going to need a few thousand Flux to take it all the way to a rank 7. But let me repeat this, you do need Cosmic Flux to make a rank 7 legendary, not a rank 5 or a rank 6, just a rank 7. Those are the only 2 uses of Cosmic Flux. Over time, you may need quite a bit of it because maybe you'll want to complete a full cosmetic set, or you have a lot of legendaries, or you have alts and you need to farm that much more of everything across multiple characters. I wouldn't panic quite yet though. There's some important context that's still missing, which means what I'm going to tell you is based on both facts and speculation, so take the rest of this with a grain of salt. I said the Flux is used to upgrade legendaries and to convert regular gear into tier stuff, but rank 7 legendaries and the creation catalyst will not be available at launch. These 2 features are going to be unlocked over time. The Tome of the Eternal, which teaches crafters how to make the necessary rank 7 reagents, is given as a quest reward to players after completing Chapter 5 of the 9.2 campaign, which is accessible as soon as the 3rd week of the patch, giving you that much time to farm for the Flux that you need. The new 9.2 Legendary Belt will be awarded after completing Chapter 7 a few weeks later. This is also the earliest time one could obtain the Legendary Memory to craft this new legendary on other slots and on other characters without having to redo the campaign. Also, the Creation Catalyst won't be unlocked until the 8th week of the patch. So in the meantime, players can hoard eligible pieces of gear to be used to create tier sets once the Catalyst is available and they have enough Flux. I'm pretty confident that Cosmic Flux will start dropping day 1 of the new patch. Throughout Zereth Mortis are special one-time chests that drop large amounts of Flux. There is a possibility that Cosmic Flux could be introduced a little bit later in the patch, so we're not holding onto a currency that does literally nothing for weeks. But that would also mean special one-time treasure chests that contain these considerable amounts of Flux shouldn't appear until then. Otherwise, it would be really screwed up to open up a chest that you'll never see again and then miss out on Flux that you should have waited for. It sounds pretty silly. I just wanted to leave that thought out there so we don't get surprised day one of the patch and we're wondering where's our flux and there's no flux to be given. That took a while for me to think of, so please clap and upvote, thanks. Anyway, for now, I'm going to proceed based on what I'm seeing and presume that flux will drop on day 1, or at the very latest, the start of Season 3, or 1 week after the patch drops and those special little chests start to appear. So is there any strategy for farming Cosmic Flux? Not exactly, but I'll offer up what I think are guidelines, I guess, depending on your player behavior. I believe that in most scenarios, players are not going to have to focus on farming directly for Flux because they'll fulfill plenty of their needs based on normal play. A good handful of players run solo, and they're not going to use the creation catalyst at all, unless Blizzard decides at the last minute that new gear in the zone is eligible to be transformed. Not everyone is going to be using more than 2 or 3 legendaries throughout the patch, and it's not like you need Flux to make a legendary at all. Making a rank 4 or a 6 legendary wouldn't be literally useless, it's just not very optimal. However, you're here for a little bit of a guide, and I'm here to help everyone out. The biggest and most immediate source of Flux will be from these special treasures dotted throughout the zone. As we get closer to launch, numerous guides and add-ons will be available to guide you to where each of these are. My advice would be to make sure that you can switch to the Venthyr Covenant, all for the sake of quickly getting past some of the jumping puzzles and ledges that these treasures are hanging out on. Or you can be a Demon Hunter, or be a Warlock, also while being Venthyr. A lot of Flux is going to come as a byproduct from other activities. Performance-minded players will be likely doing all the Zereth Mortis content for the sake of getting that legendary memory, and Flux will come their way. Folks who want to quickly access the feature that creates pets and mounts will be picking up treasures and rares as they hunt for ciphers of the first ones. People running Mythic Plus might be used to how much excess valor they sit on, and Flux isn't going to feel very different. Raiders are likely to use the least amount of Flux because they may just get most of their tier from raiding. But they're still likely to get plenty of Flux, we just don't know exactly how much yet. Okay, so this is less of a guide and more reassurance that this is a very plentiful resource given what we know on the PTR. It's almost weird that Cosmic Flux has so few uses, and I anticipate that items that cost Flux will be hotfixed into the game before long. I can imagine a Flux trade for alts, and I still haven't noticed where gem socket upgrades are. Maybe those can be available for Flux as well. For now though, that's where we're at, and I hope that this helped you out a little bit. If so, please hit that like button, share the knowledge, and I will see you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.